Enjoy. You sit down. Oh, I got something in your seat, sorry.
Well, congressional Republicans are doing what they do best. No, not coming up with new and exciting ways to be racist in public without using slurs. No, I'm talking about screwing over millions of hardworking Americans in favor of the ultra-rich. That old chestnut. Yeah, they passed a budget resolution that would gut Medicaid and food stamps to cover over $1 trillion in tax cuts for the 1%. And conservatives online are celebrating it, which is weird to me because I know they can't all be part of the 1% on account of how percentages work and everything. So I don't understand what y'all are cheering. And they say, oh no, Trump already said he's going to no taxes on tips and overtime and stuff. All right, but those things are like the governmental equivalent of working for a soulless corporation that'll write you up for attending the birth of your child. But, you know, sometimes on Fridays they let us untuck our shirts and eat cold pizza. Like, comparatively, those measures ain't shit, all right? But much, much more importantly, also, they ain't even doing them. All right, those things ain't part of this resolution, so I ask again, what are you happy about? And they might say, well, you know, either way, they're balancing the budget, they're trimming government spending, and that's good for all of us. Look, not to get too professorial on you, but nuh-uh. This is going to increase this country's debt. How are you okay with that as a conservative? One Republican in Congress voted no on this because he said it's going to increase our debt, and I just don't think that would be, you know, fiscally responsible. To which all of his congressional Republican colleagues responded by making the jerk-off motion and saying, oh, is it fiscally responsible? Hey, somebody called the zoo, tell them one of their rhinos escaped, huh? And then they all high-fived and gave each other another 6-day weekend. These people are not working to help you. So why are you cheering? Right? And unfortunately, I think the answer for a lot of Americans is these policies, it doesn't matter if they help them or not, so long as they do hurt the right others, i.e. the dirty, dastardly poor. They're just a bunch of lazy leeches, right? Well, here's the thing. I was a poor kid. I know, gross, but I was on all these programs, food stamps, subsidized my education, all through college. Don't know what I would have done without them. And in the intervening years since, I have paid back far more in taxes than I ever got for the government. So the point is, stop looking at these programs as an endless money glitch for a bunch of freeloaders and look at them instead as an investment in one of our most vital resources, each other. All right, and I am walking, breathing, shit-talking proof that the ROI can be pretty damn good. We can use these programs to lift up countless other Americans out of poverty and into a place where they can and will contribute mightily, or we can pay for another volcano layer lava pool for a dorky-ass cringe-lord billionaire. All right, look, giving these rich people even more money is not going to work. You know how I know? Because we've been doing it for more than 40 goddamn years. If the blessed urine of our betters was ever going to trickle down to us, I think we'd have felt a drop or two by now. All right, so I'm imploring you, wake up, stop tongue polishing the boot that's on your throat, and recognize the value of investing in your fellow Americans. Jesus Christ. All right, YouTube, you know, as with most things, the coverage from the media on this story is all over the map, although in this particular case, it's slightly different than usual. Let me show you what I mean by that. All right, y'all, we're here on Ground News' website looking at the coverage of, says Republicans consider cuts and work requirements for Medicaid jeopardizing care for millions. Coverage breakdown on the right, you can see 116 sources. This is interesting. So far, many more on the left, 30, than the right, 9. That's a higher ratio than we often see. And if you look closer at some of the headlines, start to see maybe a little narrative emerge. So you can use Ground News to sort by bias of the outlets. In fact, on Ground News, before you ever click an article, you can see the bias of the outlet right here. You can also see the factuality rating and oftentimes the ownership group. A lot more layers of information than you're going to get from most places. But if we look at left-leaning outlets and how they're covering this, you know, they focus on, it says these proposed cuts could hit red states the hardest. Time magazine notes the cruelty of Medicaid work requirements, kind of plug at people's heartstrings. This one says a lot of MAGA, 20 million Americans set to lose coverage under new GOP bill. So they're trying to focus on the downsides and how it could actually impact many people in Trump country. On the right, not that much coverage right now. And you can see Newsmax, they frame it, Trump's vow to protect Medicaid clashes with this GOP budget. So clearly they're setting it up as though Trump is the good guy here, and really this isn't even him doing it. But even on the right, they're not really celebrating this move overly much, I think, because they understand how popular Medicaid really is. All right, this is the type of insight you can get from Ground News. That's why I've been working with them for more than a year now. They are an independent, nonpartisan website and app that adds context and transparency to all the news you consume. You can follow along at ground.news/Trey, or you can scan that QR code for more information. This isn't all they do. They got a lot of great features. The blind spot feature here is one of my favorites. This shows stories that are not being covered on either side of the political spectrum, so you can see what the left or right is not talking about right now, and this allows you to step outside of your own bubble and see what's going on down at the other end of the scale, which is something I think we could all stand to do a little more of. So if that sounds intriguing to you, you can click the link in the description below or scan that QR code to get 40% off the highest tiered unlimited access Vantage plan, or you could try Ground News for free. Either way, it's time. Push back on the bias and BS and check out Ground News today. All right, YouTube, man, we're back. Listen, so yeah, you know, these people cheering this on when I know they're not part of the 1%. You know, they think they say every American's a temporarily embarrassed billionaire, and I guess it must be true, because I can't understand how you could cheer this on with no measure of shame at all. To me, it's the equivalent of like a medieval peasant being happy to hear that his liege lord was going to take the rest of this year's harvest and use it to fund a tournament where him and the rest of the fancy bloods can get together and eat gooses and watch horse stuff to celebrate two 13-year-old first cousins getting married, right? The peasant's just like, oh, that sounds great. That's the best gift of all, my lord. The sweet release of death for me and mine. Bless you, my liege. That's what these people sound like to me. But again, they don't even care. They don't think of themselves as being in that group. They just think of, the poor as being lazy and worthless. They think that these programs are just a way for poor people to kick their feet up, live life on easy streets. If there's one thing we all know about a life of poverty, it's how chill and stress-free it generally is. Living in constant fear of eviction or getting sick and having holes in your shoes every day, truly an enviable life of leisure and luxury I think any of us would want to sign up for. Nothing is easy about it, and these people just refuse to see or believe that somehow. But they keep it up. They let their overlords keep this up, and they'll learn one day. They'll see one way or the other, I'd like to think. Although maybe not, because they might just get told a different story than the rest of us, because it turns out the media is just all flocking in the same chicken shit direction. Jeff Bezos has told the Washington Post the opinion department, he's like, hey, so I have thus decreed that this is what everybody's opinion is going to be. All right, it's a free markets rule, and that's it. I recognize that there are other opinions, and I can see why you might think that the opinion column would cover a range of those, but we're just, not everybody's got to do that. Our opinions can just be one heavily repeated, very narrative-driven opinion, right, that I forced to come from a bunch of different sources. I mean, that's an opinion too. It is an opinion. You have to admit that it is an opinion, so it can be the paper's opinion and all of your opinion, okay, or else I'll have you all killed. All right, thank you very much. But this is the world that we're all living in now, a world where the billionaires get to dictate what is and is not reality for the rest of us. And at a certain point, how are you going to be able to tell anyone between these edicts and the billions are pouring into what seemingly worthless AI, all in the pursuit of sculpting the reality to suit their own means? What are the rest of us to do other than to keep hollering into the void, I guess, and trying to back each other up as much as we can? I don't know. Hallelujah. Holy shit. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. We'll put these things up here. This is my comedy special. What else? Got a new one coming very soon. Also, you can subscribe to the channel. You can see all these and my podcasts and all this other stuff. I do other things from time to time, and most importantly for me, the other one's TreyCrowder.com, my website where you can see my tour dates, where I'm coming to do stand-up comedy. That's really what I do. So if you like these and I'm coming near you, you should come see me. It's a lot of fun. We'll commiserate together and have a big old time. Either way, if you keep watching these silly things, I'll keep making them. I love you like chicken. Hang in there, everybody.
I love you like chicken.
was a big day for Donald Trump. He had a meeting with every member of his cabinet, and he even invited the president. By the way, thanks for dressing up, Elon. Don't let us keep you from a blackjack tournament in 2006. But yes, Elon did have a seat at the table. Well, not an actual seat. He was more looming over it, like an Ed Hardy Sith Lord. And some reporters wondered if that created tension with the actual cabinet members, given that he keeps trying to fire all of their staff.
President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going.
Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Were you unhappy to say about it? If you are, we'll throw them out of here.
It's nice to know that someone gets a vote on whether Elon Musk should be running the country. It would have been awkward if someone could save. So everyone is proud of the job that Elon is doing with every member of his cabinet, and he even invited the president. By the way, thanks for dressing up, Elon. Don't let us keep you from a blackjack tournament in 2006. But yes, Elon did have a seat at the table. Well, not an actual seat. He was more looming over it, like an Ed Hardy Sith Lord. And some reporters wondered if that created tension with the actual cabinet members, given that he keeps trying to fire all of their staff.
Maybe a resort with a water park?
Or somewhere less family-friendly?
Yep, one Vegas hotel for the bride-to-be.
What if we hate everything?
We have free cancellation. Find exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com, booking.com.
Actually, you don't need vision to do most things in life. If I can see it and understand it quickly, anyone can. That's how I help people thrive. People who know BDO.
Lumify?
It's kind of amazing. Wow. Lumify eye drops dramatically reduce redness.
In 1 minute.
And look at the difference. My eyes look brighter and whiter for up to 8 hours. Lumify really works. See for yourself. Lumify.
Can a mortgage move you forward? Absolutely. SoFi has helped over 130,000 people take the leap toward homeownership. SoFi Mortgage, verified pre-approval, low down payment options, and an on-time close guarantee.
Ever feel like a spectator in your own life with chronic migraine? 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. In a survey, 91% of users wish they'd started sooner. So why wait? Talk to your doctor.
Botox effects may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as trouble swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Those with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions like rash, breathing problems, dizziness, neck and injection site pain, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions like ALS, myasthenia gravis or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medicines like botulinum toxins, which may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Chronic migraine may still keep you from being there. Ask your doctor about Botox today. Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Krista, it's time to fess up.
About?
You're over 45 and still haven't screened for colon cancer.
We all knew.
This is like the 3rd year she's turned 44. Okay.
I wasn't ready. What, drink all that prep? Cancel brunch plans? I can't.
Ask for Cologuard. It's a one-of-a-kind way to screen for colon cancer that's effective and non-invasive.
No prep, and you use it at home.
False positive and negative results may occur. Those at high risk should use colonoscopy.
Skip the drama. Ask your provider or request Cologuard online.
Sadly, windshield chips can turn into windshield cracks. But at least you can go to SafeLight.com and schedule a fix in minutes.
Sweet.
SafeLight can come to you for free. Don't wait. Go to SafeLight.com and schedule now.
This is the story of the one who believes being prepared is not just a way of life, it's how he helps everyone stay safe. He sweats the small stuff before it becomes big stuff. For the one, being an unsung hero in a building full of everyday heroes is just how he likes it. The industrial-grade products you need delivered fast. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Need a shipping solution that'll grow with you? With ShipStation, you can manage and fulfill all your orders in one place. Plus, you get more carrier options at the lowest rates. Keep your business growing. Head to ShipStation.com to start your free trial.
We're happiest when our pups are happy, and we're not satisfied unless they're satisfied. Satisfying them at mealtime can be equally tough. With Ollie, you never have to sacrifice happiness for healthiness again. Get 50% off your first box at Ollie.com.
Beautiful live picture on a sunny morning at the United States Capitol coming up on 7:30 a.m. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's recent firing of the top lawyers for the Army, Navy, and Air Force causing alarm among some in the military community. The three lawyers fired are known as Judge Advocates General, or JAG, serve in their roles not to give military orders but to provide legal counsel to military commanders at all levels. Joining us now, the former Secretary of the Air Force, Frank Kendall. He served in that role from 2021 until January of this year. He's got a new piece in the New York Times about President Trump's recent high-level military firings titled, "America Has a Rogue President." Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us again. I want to get right into your piece. You explain why you find the Trump administration's removal of the military's top JAG so disturbing. In it, you write this, quote, "This is part of a much larger pattern of disrespect, even disdain for the rule of law. We do not need JAG leaders who fit this pattern. Our country is in uncharted territory. We have an administration that is waging war against the rule of law. The evidence is everywhere. We don't yet know how far it will go as it seeks to control, reinterpret, rewrite, ignore, or defy legal constraints, including the Constitution itself. The replacement of the military JAG leadership is one skirmish in that war, but it's time for the American people across the political spectrum to recognize what is happening. America has a rogue president and a rogue administration, and we need to acknowledge that and respond." Mr. Secretary, we had Independent Senator Angus King on this show yesterday, sitting the very seat you're sitting in right now, basically giving the same message but to his colleagues in Congress, saying it's time to wake up and see what's happening right there in front of our eyes. So what is your warning to the military and to the country this morning?
Well, Senator King's a good friend, and I'm sure we see this the same way. The Constitution calls for the president to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. That's a fundamental responsibility. And what we're seeing in this case is a president who's taking every opportunity to try to reinterpret the law or defy the law in some cases in order to accomplish his goals. I think that's very disturbing. And when I saw that the JAG officers were being relieved along with the other senior people, all of whom I know and all of whom are very fine professional officers, I was disturbed by that. And I don't think people recognized originally what the implications of that would be. But these are the senior military professionals who are lawyers, who provide legal opinions about whether orders are lawful or not. And to remove all of them and put in there someone who's, I think, say it nicely, more flexible, I think is a dangerous move.
We've heard Hegseth, of course, too, be critical of those JAG officers, calling them JAG-offs during the confirmation process. But when you say recognize what's happening and respond, we're doing the recognizing piece, talking about it here. What's the response?
I think Americans all need to understand what is happening here across the political spectrum and let people know that this is unacceptable. We all have a right or an obligation as citizens to pay attention to what's happening in our government. President Trump has demonstrated he will respond to the weight of public opinion if it's expressed clearly enough. In the legislature, the Republicans at least are not really taking any action. The Democrats have no power. But if there is a clearer demonstration by the American people of their views on this and the importance of our democracy and the importance of the rule of law to them, then I think there will be a response to that.
Secretary Kendall, this is Eddie Glaude. I talk a little bit about your relationship with General C.Q. Brown and the meaning of his removal, as well as Admiral Franchetti and General Slife. I mean, what does this suggest to you about the current approach with regards to the military and diversity?
That's concerning too. It's essentially a politicization of the military in a way I've never seen. The president has the authority to remove officers and replace them. These were all removed without cause. They didn't do anything wrong. There wasn't any question about their judgment. I've never seen this before. The administration's changed, and military professionals provide some continuity in normal course of events, and that's of value. They have a lot of experience. All of these officers, and I do know them all. I know General Brown the best. They've been chosen because of their maturity, their judgment, their capabilities, and there was no reason to remove them other than apparently to put people that'll be more compliant.
So, sir, let's talk about the future of the military here as you see this president put in, seemingly, loyalists in top positions, in terms of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff elevating someone who has spoken favorably of him, bypassing dozens of more senior officers in order to do so. What is your concern about what could be next, what this president might try to use the military for?
I can't speculate on that. I think you saw attempts in the first administration to use the military to put down protests, for example. General Milley, quite famously, refused to do that at one point, I think, for the president in his first term. So I don't know exactly what circumstances might give rise to a misuse or an illegal use of the military. We are seeing evidence that Secretary Hegseth and the president want to put more troops on the border and use them for border security. That's not a traditional use of our military. That's not what they're really trained to do. So there are any number of possibilities, I think, that we might be concerned about.
Mr. Secretary, can you speak more broadly to the state of the military, the United States military as you see it today? Obviously, the entire rationale for Secretary Hegseth as he went through the confirmation process, and part of why he earned the attention of President Trump, was by calling the military woke and weak, and that he had to come in and just clean up the culture. Is that the military you know?
No, our military is very, very professional. It doesn't change because of political leadership changes. It goes through very smoothly, transitions from one party to another. The banning of the diversity training and so on will take about 5 minutes. Nobody was promoted because they weren't qualified or just because of their gender or their race. We have an incredibly professional military full of very dedicated public servants who will do their duty for anybody who's in the chain of command, whatever party that is and so on. There is no concern for the American people to be worried about the wokeness, whatever that is, quite frankly, of our military. It's a very professional force.
Spoken by a man who has spent his life in service of the country and the military, and we're grateful for that. We'll read the new piece online. Everyone can read it in the New York Times. Former Air Force Secretary, retired U.S. Army Reserve Lieutenant Colonel Frank Kendall. Sir, thank you for your time, and again, thank you for your service. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Coming up, an update on that measles outbreak now hitting more states across the country, plus a conversation about the rise of mass incarceration in America and how the Supreme Court has played a role. That's straight ahead on Morning Joe.
Work. Play. Blink. Relief. Work. Play. Blink. Relief.
The only 3-in-1 extended relief formula for dry eyes.
Blink.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary obligated to act in your best interests. So how do your management fees work? We have a transparent fee, structured so we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
You can turn this into this. We give you the rewards, and you choose how to use them. Get rewards on everyday purchases with Credit One Bank.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base.
That's what Grandpa used to play. When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone, it made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear Captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required.
Clear caption service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you.
Call 1-800-714-2088. That's 1-800-714-2088.
That's $225 for the night.
Not bad. $155 for the night.
How?
It's easy when you know where to look.
Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites, so you can save up to 40%. Hotel Trivago.
Safe like repair.
Elon is stealing from you. Elon is stealing from you.
Nobody likes a cracked windshield. But at least you can go to SafeLight.com and schedule a fix in minutes. Go to SafeLight.com and schedule a replacement today.
Safe like repair, safe like replace.
When you live with diabetes, progress is having your coffee like you like it, without an audience. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor tracks your glucose in real time, so everyone else doesn't have to. And over time, it can help lower your A1C. Confident choices for more control of your life. This is progress. Learn more and try for free at freestylelibre.us.
Still have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease symptoms after taking a medication like Humira or Remicade? Put them in check with Rinvoq, a once daily pill.
When symptoms try to take control, I got rapid relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When flares try to slow me down, I got lasting remission with Rinvoq. Check. And many were in remission, even at nearly 2 years.
And Rinvoq helped visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining. Check.
Rapid symptom relief, lasting remission.
And visibly reduced damage. Check.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin. Serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Put UC and Crohn's in check and keep them there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq.
Wow. Incredible. Amazing. My go-to is Lumify eye drops.
Lumify dramatically reduces redness.
In 1 minute.
And look at the difference.
My eyes look brighter and whiter for up to 8 hours. Lumify? It's kind of amazing. See for yourself.
MSNBC presents a new podcast hosted by Jen Psaki. Each week, she talks to some of the biggest names in Democratic politics with the biggest ideas for how Democrats can win again. The Blueprint with Jen Psaki. Listen now.
Welcome back to Morning Joe. The United States has less than 5% of the world's population, but has more than 20% of the world's prisoners. That's according to the ACLU. And one influential legal scholar argues that the Supreme Court has played a key role in the rise of mass incarceration in America. Author Rachel Barkow makes her case in the new book, Justice Abandoned, and Rachel joins us now. She is a professor of law at NYU. Professor, thank you so much for being here this morning. This is certainly an original argument. Talk to us a little bit about its foundations.
Sure. So, I mean, most people, I think, realize that politics produces the impetus for mass incarceration. You know, people clamor for tougher sentences. And I think what people forget is we have constitutional checks on the public going too far. And the problem has been the Supreme Court has been asleep at the wheel a little bit and hasn't enforced them. And I go through a series of cases. Had they been decided differently, I don't think we would see incarceration run amok to the same extent.
So for how long has this phenomenon occurred? These cases you talk about, how recent are they? Do some go back decades?
No, well, yeah, they do go back decades. So, it starts with the Nixon administration and moves forward from there. And basically, the whole period before that, America looked entirely different. And one of the things the Supreme Court does is allow the Constitution to be radically altered to allow mass incarceration to occur.
So I'm so excited about the book, and you rightly note the social and political context. So I'm thinking about the Omnibus Crime Bill in 1968. I'm thinking about, of course, all the tough on crime laws that follow. How deeply is the response and the reaction to the social revolutions of the mid-20th century, to the realities of race, driving this story, right? I mean, not only just the legal, the juridical.
YouTube, Starfish, Innovations.
Considerations, but the social realities are what's driving this story in some way.
Yeah, that's central. I mean, that is absolutely central. I mean, it's true that we do get a rise in crime at the end of the 1960s and 70s, but we also have a lot of what's civil unrest, or we have people clamoring for their rights, and the country is undergoing protests, and sometimes they turn to riots. And so when the Supreme Court starts considering some of these cases, it looks like the country is in tumult. And I think you do see a backlash to that, the idea that, well, we need to let the police do more. We need to let the government do more to have things be more stabilized.
So it's an originalist argument, right? In an interesting sort of way, and we wouldn't ordinarily think of an originalist claim serving these sorts of purposes, and that's the
anti-Elon and
first kind of, I would love you to address that. And then the second question, or maybe the last one, I suppose, for me, would be, well, what do you think about the Supreme Court's role in this now, given the way the court's constituted?
Yeah, so I do think it's interesting that if you woke the framers up and you plot them down, there'd be a lot of things they'd be horrified about today. But one of them would be the police state, the ability of the police to stop and frisk people without probable cause, the idea you could be detained when you hadn't been found guilty of anything. All of that contradicts all the original meaning of the Constitution. So part of what I do argue is that none of these things would be acceptable if you were an originalist and you looked at the text of the Constitution. But, you know, they're also bad policy, they're bad for liberty, they're bad for equality. And so I tried to pick the cases that fail on every measure. You know, the question is whether this court is going to be true to its originalist methodology when it's faced with a series of cases where the outcome would be more liberal as opposed to conservative.
All right, the fascinating new book is titled Justice Abandoned: How the Supreme Court Ignored the Constitution and Enabled Mass Incarceration. It goes on sale Tuesday, but you can pre-order it right now. We encourage you to do so. Author Rachel Barkell. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Still ahead here on Morning Joe, we'll bring you the latest on the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife at their home in New Mexico. Plus, we'll explain why the Trump administration's much-hyped release of the Epstein files ended up drawing criticism from both sides of the political spectrum. Also,
7 million U.S. businesses rely on TikTok to compete.
Within a week of posting, I had over $25,000 in sales.
I don't have $1 million to put towards marketing and branding. TikTok was the way, and it saved my company.
We had a video do really good this week. Sales were up 29%.
About 80% of my business right now is from TikTok.
Small businesses thrive on TikTok.
TikTok brings in so much foot traffic.
I need TikTok to keep growing. We have so much more work to do.
I didn't think someone like me was at risk of shingles.
The rash couldn't possibly be that painful.
And it wouldn't disrupt my life for weeks.
I was wrong. I didn't know that 99% of people over 50 already have the virus that causes shingles, and it could reactivate at any time.
I learned that the hard way.
But you don't have to. Talk to your healthcare provider today.
Liberty Mutual is all.
Fuck Elon and Liberty Mutual.
She talks about since we saved hundreds by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Hey kid, it's pronounced.
Fuck Elon and the felon.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Liberty. Liberty.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Now she's mocking me. Very mature.
Hey, that's enough, you two.
Hey, I'm not the one acting like a total baby.
She's two.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Liberty.
Hourly Amazon employees earn an average of over $22 per hour in communities across America.
Hey. We're going big tonight.
Let's go. Amazon offers hourly employees health care on day one for the whole family.
Safety.
Should I go, Mom?
No, don't tell your mother anything.
Got eyelid itching, crusties, and swelling that won't go away? It could be
Demodex blepharitis, and we're Demodex mites. We're very common and super irritating to your eyelids, but we love making ourselves comfortable here. Oh yeah, steam time!
if Demodex mites are partying it up on your eyelids, it's time to eliminate the root of the problem with Xdemvy. With one drop in each eye twice a day, you can kill the mites in just 6 weeks. Xdemvy is the first and only FDA-approved treatment that kills the mites that cause Demodex blepharitis, a common eyelid disease. Avoid touching the tip of the bottle to your eye or other surfaces to minimize contamination. Wait 15 minutes before inserting contact lenses. In clinical trials, the most common side effects were stinging and burning in 1 out of 10 patients.
Party's over, folks.
It's not you, it's Demodex mites. Talk to your eye doctor today.
Don't let back pain turn your whole day into a constant struggle. Take action with Dones. Proven relief to get you back to your day. Dones, maximum strength back pain relief. Trusted for over 100 years to get you back to doing what you love. Can a mortgage move you forward? Absolutely. SoFi has helped over 130,000 people take the leap toward homeownership. SoFi Mortgage, verified pre-approval, low down payment options, and an on-time close guarantee.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today. Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base. That's what Grandpa used to play. When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone, it made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear Captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Captions service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you.
Call 1-800-403-7539. That's 1-800-403-7539. Live picture of sunrise over Dallas at 6:50 in that great city. 7:50 here on the East Coast. Healthcare providers are preaching the importance of vaccinations again this morning amid a fast-moving measles outbreak in Texas and other parts of the country. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock has the latest.
U.S. health officials may have declared measles eliminated 25 years ago, but there's a furious race this morning to contain a new spread. 10 states have now reported cases, most of them in Texas. New Jersey just announced it has 3 infections, all of them related to one person's travel abroad, with the virus then spreading to 2 household contacts. All 3 were unvaccinated.
It is a highly contagious disease.
New Jersey's Health Commission telling us when it comes to the measles vaccine, it's better late than never.
If somebody was not vaccinated and they came in contact with measles, it's important to know right away, because if we get them vaccinated within 72 hours, it could help.
The most recent infections have been reported in Washington State and Kentucky. The worst spread in western Texas, where there are more than 120 cases, including 20 plus hospitalizations, all children, one of whom has died. Aruna Maharjan in Lubbock, Texas, is racing to get her young daughter vaccinated.
I got measles as a kid because there was no vaccine, there was no availability. But here in America, it's free and accessible, and yet people choose to, ignore it.
Many pediatricians, like Dr. Tim Jacks of Arizona, pleading with parents to vaccinate their children. His daughter was exposed when she was 2 years old while receiving cancer treatments.
It definitely affects more than just them, and it's affecting the families around them, the families in the school, the kids that are immunosuppressed or that are too young to be immunized.
The rising risk coming against an explosion of misinformation, with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. recently making several assertions about the Texas cases that had to be corrected by local doctors. Health experts want parents to trust the science.
I will tell you, again, vaccines are safe and effective. This is not up for debate.
NBC's Sam Brock reporting there. Meanwhile, the New York Post editorial board is challenging Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to publicly travel to Texas to inform the public that vaccines are safe. The New York Post, of course, owned by Rupert Murdoch, has gone hard after Secretary Kennedy. A school bus driver in Ohio is being praised this morning for taking swift action to save his students after a fire broke out on board. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa has details.
It's been good. I'll be back in a bit.
Heart-stopping video of a near tragedy in Ohio.
Hey. How you doing? Look at my sign I got.
What's that?
It's like a programmable thing, and so I'm gonna use it to put like anti-Elon
I know.
and the felon.
Who's felon?
Trump.
Oh. Why call him felon?
Because he's convicted on 34 federal felony crimes. So he doesn't like it when people call him that, because it's the only time he's ever been convicted as a criminal. So it's just one of those things to rub in his face. But
okay, I have to go. I have a meeting.
Okay. Yeah, me too.